right, family. All right. We are LIVE. We are live right here on YouTube. I am Tamara Johnson Sheila. I just want to say thank you for joining me, y'all, today. Thank you. I know you could have been doing a whole lot of other things, but we are here, y'all. We are here, and you know what time it is. It is keeping up with Congress. It is keeping up with Congress because I told you we will not, and I repeat, we will not get reparations without negotiations. We won't. We got to give to get, y'all. We're going to have to give to get. So we got to know the players. We got to know the game. We got to be prepared. May 24th, 2022 is right around the corner. Every day is time that we cannot afford to waste, y'all. So I just want to thank you for joining me in the room. Ping some folks, y'all. I told you today, this afternoon, our guest will be Jackie Johnson, the mother of Kendrick Johnson. She's going to join us at the half hour. Y'all, I told you when I met this woman, I met her just this past, for the first time, this last time we were able to get out on the road. And when I saw that lady, y'all, I know she's like, I'm gonna have to ask her, Jackie. I didn't mean to squeeze you and hug you so hard, but my heart just totally went out to her because, y'all, I can't imagine getting a phone call from the high school where your child has been found rolled up in a gym mat, dead. I can't. I lost my mother, and I know how that took me to a place. And I pray. I had to, only God could bring you through. So I just can't imagine. I can't, y'all. I can't. So my heart truly goes out to her, being the mother of 2 young adult sons. Black America, y'all, being Black in America. So thank you for joining me. I always like to bring you reparations information at the top of the hour. What's going on around the country specific to reparations? We can't miss a moment. We can't miss a beat. We can't get quiet. We watching these mayors that have these initiatives, calling themselves, putting together a platform, y'all, where they are trying to get what they can, calling it reparations. What kind of damn reparations is going to run through your city budget? That ain't no reparations. You need to use your taxes and use your tax dollars, because that ain't no reparations. So no, cut the check. Cut the check. You're going to pay us. You're going to pay this generation. So let's dive in, y'all. Let's dive in. If you are watching me live here on YouTube, this is an article that I found about the survivors of the Tulsa race massacre. They have arrived in Ghana, y'all, for a week-long trip to Africa. So 2 of the 3 surviving elders, descendants of Tulsa, they are in Africa, y'all. This was a lifelong dream of one of them. We'll dive into the article. It says Viola, Mother Fletcher, and Hughes, Uncle Red, Van Ellis, the sibling survivors of the 1921 Tulsa race massacre, and their grandchildren were welcomed into Ghana on Saturday to kick off their week-long visit to the African country. It says, according to, and hear this part, y'all, according to Paris-based France 24, the trip is a part of a government campaign to give African descendants an opportunity to come back home. And I highlighted that. It's a government campaign to give African descendants an opportunity to, quote unquote, come back home. I think we need to be paying attention to what's happening in this country. And they sending us, quote unquote, back home. And they bringing in refugees into the country. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. Keep your eyes on the news. Keep your eyes on what they're saying and not saying, and watch what they're doing and not doing. So a government campaign to give African descendants an opportunity to come back home. Okay. Fletcher 107 and Van Ellis 100 arrived in Accra, Ghana's capital, to a crowd of onlookers and government officials waiting to receive them. It says the Tulsa World reports that the trip, all expense paid, is co-sponsored by Virginia-based social media platform Our Black Truth and the Diaspora Africa Forum, based in Ghana. It says Democratic State Rep. Regina Goodwin of Tulsa told the World that the trip stemmed from a conversation that Fletcher had with Our Black Truth, the co-founders, Michael and Eric Thompson, earlier this year. For those of you who don't know the story of Tulsa, most of you do. It says from May 31st through June 1st of 1921, more than 300 Black residents were murdered and hundreds of Black-owned businesses were destroyed by a white mob that descended upon Greenwood, a neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It says Greenwood was known as Black Wall Street due to its status as a thriving business district for its affluent Black residents. It says this year marked the 100th anniversary of the massacre, which is infamously known as one of the worst episodes of racial violence in America's history. The article goes on to say the World reports that while in Ghana, the survivors and their family will be following strictly observed COVID-19 protocols. I was a little concerned, like, okay, these are quite elderly. These people are quite elderly, but they're following some very strict COVID-19 protocols. So they will also have opportunities to meet President Nana Akufo-Addo, visit several historical sites, and take part in a traditional naming ceremony. It says during the ceremony, according to the World, it says Fletcher will be honored as a queen mother and Van Ellis as a chief. So they are in Ghana, y'all. The two of the three survivors. So here's an article that actually is an opinion piece that I found quite interesting. I thought I'd bring this to you today about the Sierra Club and the head of the Sierra Club. He resigned, and here's an opinion piece to why. It says on Friday, Michael Broom, executive director of the Sierra Club, resigned. He had been in charge of the organization for 11 years, and Politico calls the resignation a major blow to the U.S. environmental movement and the Democratic Party's green base. This opinion piece, y'all, this is somebody's opinion. It said, why did Broom quit? It says he didn't say. However, he apologized for any instance, and that's in quote, for any instance in which staff and volunteers of the Sierra Club did not feel, and this is in quote, feel safe, supported, and valued. Broom did not elaborate, but the article goes on to refer to something that happened not too long ago with this executive said about reparations. It says the Sierra Club in June called for the United States to make reparations to Black people, saying the move was needed to correct the historical wrongs that were still subjecting Black communities to disproportionately high levels of pollution and exacerbating income and health disparities. The organization has confronted its own racist past in recent years to apologize for the stance of its founder, John Muir, who based elements of his conservation on derogatory beliefs and comments about Black and Indigenous people. So it said, did Broom's embrace of Black Lives Matters talking points alienate a more than insignificant portion of the Sierra Club's donor base? He was talking Black, y'all. So they're trying to figure out, was it based on the fact that he was talking about reparations, y'all? It says, as a mostly ignorant outsider, this is the opinion of the person writing this. He says, I tend to think of the portion of the environmental movement to which the Sierra Club belongs as monolithically leftist, such that its donors will be fine with the leader who calls for reparations, among other radical racialist ideas. It says, however, a friend who knows his way around this movement tells me that a lot of environmentalists, especially older ones, aren't fans of Black Lives Matter. It says they don't view it as despairingly as I do, but neither do they buy much of its line. And it says, and they resent seeing its demands injected into the environmental movement. It says, according to my friend, some of his liberal environmentalist pals reacted to Broom's call for reparations by fuming, why won't the Sierra Club stay in its lane? So they were pissed, y'all. He made some folks mad talking about reparations. So it goes on to say in closing, so maybe adverse reactions to Broom's racial radicalism has something to do with his resignation. This is just speculation, though. Yeah, this is opinion, y'all. This is speculation, but perhaps Steve, who certainly knows his way around the movement, can provide a more informed opinion. So he was calling somebody out. So quite an interesting opinion piece, y'all, about the head of the Sierra Club who talked about reparations, who has since resigned. Quite interesting. So this is a speculation, trying to figure out why this man is no longer part of the organization. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. Keeping up with Congress. I told you where we won't get reparations without negotiations. So I am Tamara Johnson. Sheila, if you have not gone to the website, please do. Please go to the website, make a donation. This is bigger and greater than all of us. And in this movement, we all have a part to play. We all have a part to play. We all got a piece that we need to be working on. So I'm running. I'm in my lane, y'all. I'm in my lane. I will not only just be a United States Senator to the citizens of Georgia, but I will be your U.S. Senator too. I will be your United States Senator. So let's dive in. HR 971. HR 971 is the Small Business Succession Planning Act. Small Business Succession Planning Act. This is Representative Bustos, Sherry Bustos, Democrat out of Illinois. It says this bill requires the Small Business Administration to establish a program, another program, y'all, to assist small businesses with developing and implementing business succession plans. This bill also provides a tax credit for a business that establishes a succession plan or that successfully carries out such a plan. It says a business succession plan identifies who will assume the ownership responsibilities of a small business upon the owner's death or retirement, and it includes an operational description of the small business to ensure the continuation of operations. I got something highlighted here in just a second. It says to carry out the program, the SBA must develop and make publicly available a toolkit to assess small business and succession planning. So here's where I found something interesting. It says, further, it must train resource partners on the toolkit, educate small businesses about the program, and ensure that each SBA district office and each resource partner employs someone to counsel small businesses on using the toolkit. That sounds like a nice job for somebody. Who is pushing to get some jobs for their friends? Keeping up with Congress, y'all. Train these resource partners on the toolkit and educate the small businesses about the business and ensure that each SBA district office and each resource partner employs someone to counsel small businesses on using the toolkit. Man, oh man, they done found a job and they writing legislation to get it done. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. Keeping up with Congress. HR 972 is the Wildlife Refuge, Conservation, and Recreation for the Community Act. This is Ken Calvert. Ken Calvert, he's a Republican out of California. Says this bill directs the Fish and Wildlife Services to establish as a national wildlife refuge the lands, waters, and interests therein acquired pursuant to this bill to be known as the Western Riverside County National Wildlife Refuge. It says the FWS, which is the Fish and Wildlife Services, shall publish notice of the establishment of the wildlife refuge in the Federal Register. So how many of y'all actually know what the Federal Register is? It's something that we need to kind of dive into. When I was in law school, we navigated it enough for us to kind of understand it. But the Federal Register, everybody, is the official journal, it says here, of the federal government of the United States that contains government agency rules, proposed rules, and public notices. So if you've never been to the Federal Register website, take a look at it, navigate through it, and there's a lot of information that you will be you'll feel like, okay, you keeping up. You can see when they're making rules, they're changing laws, executive orders. You'll see all this stuff in real time. So navigate the Federal Register if you ever have an opportunity. Federalregister.gov. HR 973, HR 973 is the Central Coast Heritage Protection Act. Central Coast Heritage Protection Act. This is Representative Carbajal. I butchered that name. Democrat out of California. The Central Coast Heritage Protection Act, this bill designates specified land within the Bakersfield Field Office of the Bureau of Land Management and in the Los Padres National Forest in California as components of the National Wilderness Preservation System. So this is a bill designating specified land up in California. So this is the Central Coast Heritage Protection Act, HR 973. HR 974, we got about 10 more minutes, and I'm going to come over to the clubhouse space. Jackie will be joining us. She's not in the room yet, but she will be with us, y'all, in about 10 minutes. HR 974 is the Sustainable Budget Act of 2021. Sustainable Budget Act of 2021. This is Representative Ed Case, Democrat out of Hawaii. The bill establishes the National Commission on Fiscal Responsibility and Reform within the legislative branch to identify policies to improve the fiscal situation in the medium term and achieve fiscal sustainability over the long term. Now, damn it, I didn't understand that either. I know all those words saying a bunch of stuff, but what are you really saying? So I did look it up, y'all. It says this bill will make recommendations on how to fix the federal government's finances over 10 years to achieve balance, excluding interest, and over the long term to achieve sustainability. All of that to say what they could have said in this one sentence. Keeping up with Congress, y'all. Some of this stuff is designed to confuse you. This is Ed Case, Democrat out of Hawaii. HR 975. HR 975 is Ensuring Seniors Access to COVID Treatments Act. Ensuring Seniors Access to COVID Treatment Act. This is Representative Sean Casten, Democrat out of Illinois. It says this bill requires prescription drug plans under Medicare and Medicare Advantage to cover drugs that are approved to treat COVID-19 without cost sharing during the public health emergency. So it's to help these seniors, y'all, with these COVID-19 prescriptions that may be too much for them to afford. So this is HR 975. You know, I like to dive into the Senate bills. I'm on track this week. I've been on track this week. Senate Bill 526. This is the Modern Worker Empowerment Act. This is our boy, Tim Scott. Tim Scott, y'all, we know who he is, Republican out of South Carolina, the Modern Worker Empowerment Act. So this bill requires the use of common law rules for defining an employee under the Fair Labor Standards of 1938. It says generally an individual is an employee under common law rules when an employer controls what work will be done and how it will be done, and among other factors. So what did Tim Scott have to say about this? It says the Modern Worker Empowerment Act is to create certainty, clarity, and consistency for workers, job creators, and entrepreneurs. Tim Scott says it is important now more than ever that we make it easier, not harder, for workers to find jobs that allow flexibility and independence. It says this legislation creates clarity and consistency for both workers and job creators and how we define independent contractors. This stability will open avenues to innovation and entrepreneurship for American workers in all 50 states. So that's a nice way of saying what, Tim Scott? So this bill, I kept reading, y'all, because this cross section between what is considered a worker and who is considered an independent contractor. This is a lane because of the beauty and barber industry, where y'all know where I came from. You know, most of us are independent contractors. This is something that we do on our own. So Tim Scott is I'm not quite sure where he is on this, but I kept reading. It says, used by a variety of federal agencies, the common law test relies on multiple factors, focused primarily on control and independence, in order to determine the appropriate classification of a given worker. This bill goes on to say, while a patchwork of state laws would likely remain, the bill would thus harmonize federal definitions and standards, resulting in greater efficiency and predictability while removing a potential deterrent to entrepreneurial opportunity for American workers. I would have to dive in, and we would have to dive in, because I really want to know where Tim Scott is. These are nice big words, but where are you, Tim? Which side of the fence? Do you want us not to be independent contractors? Do you want us to be workers? Keeping up with Congress, y'all. Keeping our eyes on Mr. Tim Scott, S526. Those of you who are independent contractors, who are entrepreneurs, this is something you have to pay attention to. If you hire somebody, or if you are hiring yourself, we got to keep up with what's going on in Congress. S527, Senate Bill 527. We have about 5 more minutes, and I'm coming over to the clubhouse space. Protecting Domestic Violence and Stalking Victims Act of 2021. This is Amy Klobuchar, Democrat out of Minnesota. Protecting Domestic Violence and Stalking Victims Act of 2021. I looked this up because I really wanted to understand what Amy was introducing. So this bill is to close what is commonly referred to as the boyfriend loophole. This legislation will prevent people who have abused dating partners from buying or owning firearms and stop convicted stalkers from possessing a gun. So this legislation, I'm going to read that again, will prevent people who have abused dating partners from buying or owning firearms and stop convicted stalkers from possessing a gun. It says, according to the Department of Justice, nearly half of women killed by intimate partners involve a dating partner. And 76% of women who were murdered by intimate partners were first stalked by their partner. So this is some very interesting legislation. S527, Amy Klobuchar, Protecting Domestic Violence and Stalking Victims Act of 2021. This is Senate Bill 528, Senate Bill 528, La Paz County Solar Energy and Job Creation Act. It says this bill directs Department of Interior, after receiving a request from La Paz County, Arizona, to convey approximately 4,800 acres of identified land managed by the Bureau of Land Management to the county. So this is a Solar Energy and Job Creation Act by Senator Saima Kirsten Saima. Y'all, I'm butchering this lady's name. Democrat out of Arizona. Senate Bill 529. We have one more after this. Senate Bill 529. This is the Background Check Expansion Act. This is Christopher Murphy, Democrat out of Connecticut. Senator Christopher Murphy. It says this bill establishes new background check requirements for firearm transfers between private parties. It says specifically it prohibits a firearm transfer between private parties unless a licensed gun dealer, manufacturer, or importer first takes possession of the firearm to conduct a background check. It says the prohibition does not apply to certain firearm transfers, such as a gift between spouses in good faith. So this is Senator Murphy, Christopher Murphy, Democrat out of Connecticut. And this is where Republicans, they say that they're trying to take away their guns. I could see where they could spin it. Senate Bill 529, y'all. Senate Bill 529. Our last one for the afternoon. We are almost at the half hour, y'all. Just a couple more minutes. Senate Bill 530. Senate Bill 530 is the Shareholder Protection Act of 2021. This is Robert Menendez, Senator Robert Menendez, Democrat out of New Jersey. This bill requires shareholder authorization of certain political expenditures by a publicly traded company. So I looked this one up. I looked this one up to understand more about this Shareholder Protection Act of 2021. It says to ensure public companies are more transparent and disclose their political spending activities to their shareholders. It says following the events of January 6th of 2021, corporate America's response to the violent insurrection at the U.S. Capitol demonstrated precisely why corporate political spending is material information to shareholders who deserve full visibility into the causes supported by the companies in which they choose to invest. It says some public companies' decision to suspend or reevaluate further political donations is an acknowledgement that political donations can significantly affect a company's reputation and financial health. It says without public disclosure of political contributions, shareholders are left in the dark about decisions that may affect the company's bottom line. And in the case of January 6th insurrection, decisions to support organizations and campaigns that may have advocated stopping the certification of a free and fair election. This is Senator Menendez. He says, y'all, not again today. I think this is a setup. They keep calling me during this broadcast. This is Senator Menendez. It says, few companies today actually disclose their political spending to investors, let alone give them a say in the process. He says the events of January the 6th taught us just how important this information is to investors and the public at large. Now is the time to re-examine how corporate executives spend shareholders' money to influence election results and support causes with wide-ranging impacts to our country, including the health of our democracy. It says corporations should not be allowed to use shareholder dollars as their piggy bank to support in secret whatever causes they may prefer. It's long past time this information be made public and for shareholders to have a say. So it talks about the Citizens United and how corporations are people. And this is Senator Menendez, Robert Menendez. This is the Shareholder Protection Act of 2021, Democrat out of New Jersey. So I am Tamara Johnson Sheila. Hopefully Miss Jackie has made it to the room. I will pick up the phone and make sure she is still gonna make it. But I am Tamara Johnson Sheila, y'all. Keeping Up with Congress is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 5 o'clock p.m. to 5:30 p.m. right here on YouTube. I am live on Clubhouse until the top of the hour. And we are going to get reparations. We're going to get it with negotiations. So we got to know the players. We got to know the game. And we got to continue to keep up with Congress. I ask that you go to my website, contribute, be a part of this movement. This reparations movement is on fire. It's on fire. And I'm just honored to be amongst those of you that are doing this great work. You know, we'll be able to sit back, you know, in our rocking chairs one day, everybody, and we're going to be able to tell our children, our grandchildren, these stories about how we fought for them, You know, they'll be, I want my grandchildren to be proud of their grandmama. I'm going to be that kind of grandmama, y'all. I want to be able to tell that story. And I want to be able to, we're going to have the receipts to prove it, right? We're going to have the receipts to prove it. So if you have not gone to the website, be a part of this campaign. Be a part of all that we are doing. This is a big job, but it takes all of us. This is heavy lifting. So I am Tamara Johnson Sheila. I'm getting ready to come over to the Clubhouse space. I'm going to text Miss Jackie and make sure she's still going to join us. So I will see you guys tomorrow, which is my Friday. It's really Thursday, but it's really my Friday. But I will see you tomorrow right here on Keeping Up with Congress, y'all. Have a good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in for Keeping Up with Congress. I am Tamara Johnson Sheila, your candidate for the United States Senate. I'm a progressive Democrat that believes that reparations will make America great. It is time that we bridge the divide in this country. Please go to the website. That's tamara4georgia.com. www.tamara4georgia.com. Please join me Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here for Keeping Up with Congress. All right.